This is FinTech Futures at Sibos, and I'm joined by Meenaz Sunderji of Brim Financial. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me, Paul. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for coming and talking to us. Yeah, I mean, I guess, how have you been enjoying the conference so far? It's been good?
Yeah, it's been very good. It's always good to be back in person after a long time, especially at Sibos, and meeting old friends, making new friends, meeting people in the industry, and so yeah, it's always interesting to converse and chat.
Excellent, yeah. Excellent. No, sounds good. Just to get started, then, we're going to give us a quick introduction to yourself and your role then at Brim.
Sure. Meenaz Sunderji, I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Brim. I'm responsible for revenue, strategy, and growth across the enterprise globally. So that's sort of my role, and it's a lot of fun because you get to meet a lot of people around the world, so which is the best part about it.
Perfect, sounds great. So to start with then, can you tell us a little bit more about what Brim Financial does then and your kind of position in the current card and payments landscape?
Sure. Brim Financial is a platform and service provider to financial institutions, fintechs, and large brands around cards and embedded finance. Right? So what does that mean? That means we do everything from digital onboarding, identity verification, fraud prevention, credit adjudication and decisioning, credit limit allocation, instantly provisioning to different wallets like an Apple, Samsung, Google. And we do this across different type of card products. So from consumer credit cards to business credit cards, secured cards, virtual cards, family cards, prepaid debit, etc. Right? And we provide significant amount of feature functionality in the hands of cardholders and users. So from embedded rewards, where you have 40,000 merchant locations funding rewards for spent by these cardholders. You have integrated BNPL within the platform, security features like lock your card, lock online transaction, lock foreign transactions, pretty much everything that you can do digitally that is currently still being done manually or through a call center or so on. But we also provide capabilities to employees who run these businesses, right? Whether it's the financial institution or anybody else, like an agent portal or a branch portal, if they have branches still, credit risk portal for credit decisioning and so on. So pretty much soup to nuts from onboarding to payment processing. We provide the end-to-end capability for our clients and partners.
Excellent, sounds great. So I mean, how would you say the retail and corporate card kind of space has evolved in recent years?
Yeah, it's evolved significantly. The expectation for consumers on the retail side is that they want things in real time. They want it in the hands of their fingertips. They do not want to call somebody. You lose your card or your card is stolen, right? You don't want to wait 5 days for a card to come in so you can continue spending. Right? That's gone. You want to have access to a virtual card as an example. On the business side, right? It's about running the business, right? And their expectation is that just providing me a loan or a card is not the end game. It's, can you help me get better at how I run my business? Can you help me with cash flow forecasting? Can you help me give one-time cards to my employees for spend? Paul's going to Sibos. We're going to give him $2,000 on the card so you can use the company card to spend on. It's active for 7 days. There's a blacklisted or whitelisted merchants that he can spend on. If you're ESG friendly, you want to encourage ESG friendly merchants to spend that as an example. Or you don't want Paul to go partying in Amsterdam, so we'll have no cafes available. You can't tap that card at a cafe as an example. So yeah, all those things are things that are expected and wanted by these institutions. So whether it's coding your spend to push it into an accounting software, right, like a Xero or something like that. This is what businesses want. They want the capability to run their business, right? And I think that's the expectation right now in the market.
Excellent, excellent. So how have companies looked to adapt then to these trends and how they bring in this on board? I guess?
Yeah, so depending on where you look at it. So if you look at it from a consumer perspective, there are fintechs that are trying to provide digital services, more value-added services to consumers so they can get and acquire them through their channel. You see that on the business side, like the Brex and the Ramps of the world, right, that are going directly after the business market, and they started with small business. Then they went out to medium businesses. And I think in the near future, they'll go out to mid-markets, even larger corporate customers, because there is still legacy and antiquated way of delivering services by financial institutions, not fault of their own. It's just over time, and how much they have on their plate, where there's an opportunity to modernize and compete with the Brex and provide better experiences to your business entities or your consumers, right? And I think that's where there's a lot of change happening. And I think that, on the cards and payments space, that's where I think the future is from a change perspective. And I think they're realizing it now. Everyone is realizing it in the market.
Excellent, excellent. So how have fintechs then been looking to support underserved customers as well?
Yeah, so there's various examples, right? So, for example, there's one of our partners who are working in the US market. where they target migrant workers or newcomers to the country, right? Their needs and requirements are very different, not always being able to be served by financial institutions, right? So they'll provide, let's say, an employee card from an employer, right? So you fund the card and then they use the card, but they also provide like secured cards where you can build credit as a newcomer using a secured card that you securitize. And so it's no longer they have to go to these, lenders who gouge them or sell, credit building products which are, there's no credit building at all. It's just a way for them to make money. So you're seeing a lot of that change and looking at niche areas where they can tackle, right, and provide services that are not being served by, traditional financial institutions or other markets, right? So you see a lot where that's where they start off on and they move from there. But you also see institutions that have a captive audience. So in wealth management example, right? And they want to take from wealth management and provide other financial services, right? So cards or accounts or what so on, right? So you see this transition of owning the customer relationship through your channel, whether you're a large brand like an Air France KLM, or you're a fintech or you're a financial institution. There's that huge movement in focusing on the customer more and more now, right?
Excellent, excellent. Sounds great. So, looking forward then, what trends are you seeing at the moment that you're quite excited by? And is there anything that Brim's working on at the moment that you can tell us about?
Yeah, what we're seeing in the market right now is that there's a change. If I look at the financial institution space, there's this huge movement, especially in North America. It will come to Europe over time on the banking as a service space, where banks who are trying to leverage the acquisition marketing strategies and the capabilities of fintechs, right, to acquire customers, acquire deposits, right, partner with them. So I think there's a huge shift in that market, and there's an opportunity for them to work together and collaborate. But there's also, on the other side, you see fintechs that are going directly after the same customer base as banks serve today, right? So there's that little tug and pull, but it's a good thing because I think competition drives the best out of everyone, and I see that happening, aggressively. And so today's market, I feel that financial institutions across the globe are spending heavily on modernizing their technology and their experiences for their customers, and that's a huge trend. I think it's going to continue for the next little while. You'll see that there's this whole rush in the fintech investment space that slowed down because of market conditions, macro-wise, but that will wash out the good from the best, right? And the ones that are the best or are going to do really well and execute, they will not only survive, I think they will thrive in the industry because now they have the opportunity, to grow, and they're going to be very focused on executing, and that's going to be what they're going to get measured on by the investors. But also the last piece, what I see is that, as I mentioned about owning the customer experience, there are a lot of large brands and channels out there that are not in financial services, but they have the attention of their customers. The customers love the service they get, how they get it. And I think those players are going to enter more into financial service space, not the large Amazons of the world, the Facebooks we're talking about, but others, other large brands that can deliver sort of embedded finance direct to the channel to help them, get the acquisition across or get more engagement with the customer, et cetera, right? So I think you'll see a lot more of that over time. I'd say in the next couple of years, become more predominant. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Meenaz. It's been great talking to you.
Same here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Take care. Cheers.